Hi, and welcome back to Hook Eat Up. Today I'm going to be making one of my favorite South Asian condiments, mango chutney. I love mango chutney to the point that if an Indian restaurant doesn't have mango chutney on the menu, I don't eat there. Now, if you have a few seconds, take some time to subscribe to my channel so you can see how to make more recipes like this. Now let's get started. To make mango chutney, you're going to need the following. You're going to need 1.5 cups of sliced and diced ripe mango, 1.5 cup sliced and diced unripe or green mango, 1 cup brown sugar, half an onion sliced and diced, half a cup of white distilled vinegar, 2 inches of ginger sliced, half a lime, and some chili paste. When picking your mangoes, you're going to want to look for a few things. For the ripe mango, you want to make sure that it's soft to the touch, and usually ripe mangoes are going to have some red to it. Now, if you're going to go with an unripe mango, and I don't have an example of that because I use my only one, an unripe mango is going to be firmer to the touch, almost hard like an avocado, and it's going to be pretty much green throughout. When you cut the flesh, it's going to even be a lighter color. Like if you compare these two here, you have one that's yellow, and it might even be as pale as an apple, but one is yellow and one is like in more orange color. The orange color is the ripe mango, and this yellow one, which doesn't even bend, is the unripe mango. By using one sweet and one sour, it gives more depth to the flavor of the mango chutney. Making mango chutney is all about the prep work. To actually make the chutney is pretty simple. The first thing you're gonna need, tall pot, set to high heat. Now what I'm gonna do is gonna add a touch of olive oil to the pan. I'm gonna toast up my spices here. Fry up some ginger. I'll move these here so I'm all set to get going. Give this a solid stir here. Now that the spices are toasted, I'm dropping in my onions, and I'm gonna brown these. And the scent of that is just delicious, so good. Now I want my onions to get translucent and just cook through. This is gonna cook for a long time, so I don't have to worry about cooking it too much. Next in, my mangoes. That all in there. Now I'm using a little variety of mangoes. One is ripe and one is unripe, specifically because the ripe mangoes are already a little sweeter and they're probably going to dissolve when we cook this down. The unripe mangoes are firmer, and those are going to give us some texture and some hard chunks to the final chutney. I'm giving this a good stir to combine all the flavors. Next in is the sugar. Putting in half the sugar now. Give this a stir. Now the sugar is going to bring out some of the moisture from the mangoes. I'm going to squeeze in half my lime now to just give a little more moisture to the mix. Salt to taste. Now I'm using salt because salt is good to complement the sweetness in this dish, and it's also going to draw out some of the moisture from the mangoes. In goes the rest of the sugar, and as you see, that moisture is coming in. Give that another stir. Now chutney is really like a spicy jam that can be used on a lot of different things. I really love this stuff. Next in is my chili. Now I'm using a good amount of chili. I like my stuff spicy. Now you could use chili flakes, you could use whole chilies. I'm using the sriracha chili paste because it helps spread out that chili tone throughout. It's not just concentrated in one area. Now that I have all my ingredients except the vinegar into the pot, I'm just bringing up the temperature. I'm gonna see this thing boiling completely. Once I see some bubbles coming through the center, I know that the temperature is even throughout. And there we go. In goes the vinegar. Add just a little more tartness to it. I'm gonna give that a good stir. Believe it or not, we're almost done. I'm just gonna cover this up, reduce the heat to a simmer, and let that cook down for about an hour. Now you want your chutney to cook slowly on low heat for about an hour, which is gonna bring all the flavors together, drive off just a little more moisture, and condense the taste. So now that our chutney's been cooking for an hour or so, I'm gonna check on it to make sure it's at the consistency that I want it to be at. Now that the chutney is at the consistency that I want it to be, I'm gonna remove it from the heat and let it cool down for about 10 minutes before I jar it up. As you can see, I have a spoon waiting in the hot water bath. This spoon is the spoon I will be using to spoon the chutney into the jam jars and keep a sterile feel. Now that the chutney is cooled, I'm gonna jar it and we're almost done. First, I'm gonna get my jars out of the oven. I already sterilized these. So they're already clean. I put them in the oven to dry and cool off. I'm gonna grab my sterile spoon here, which is pretty hot. But it keeps me clean. So into the jar, and spoon in all this chutney here. Take your time spooning that in. You don't want to get it all over the jar. Just want it inside the jar. Now this is a 16-ounce jam jar. Should have just enough to fill it up. I'm going to spoon this in here. See, the thing that sucks about getting the jar dirty is it's going to make it harder to open up when it's time. So I got all the chutney in. Tastes for me. I'm gonna grab the lid here. Set that down. I'm gonna close this tight. And that's gonna form a nice seal. And I'm gonna put it in some cold water. So now that I've taken this mango chutney out of the water bath, it's ready for storage. You can store it right in your cupboard. Since it's been sterilized, it won't grow any mold. But once you have opened it, make sure you store it in your refrigerator because it will start to go bad at that point. You probably get 7 to 10 days of life out of it, and that's just enough time to enjoy. Now when I took a taste of this chutney, it was loud on flavor. It had notes of onions, ginger was right in your face, and the spiciness was just right. Use this on meats, cheese, bread, fish, whatever you want. It's gonna add a unique flavor to whatever dish you're making. Thank you for visiting Hook Eat Up. Make sure you try this and let me know what you think in the comments below. Take care.